even if they don't know they're communists, they support every communist belief there is, that wealth should be redistributed, etc. Rich people are bad. Everyone believes those things around me. So I didn't even know Stalin is a bad person, because I grew up visiting Communist Party offices. Even there, everyone's posters are hanging, Mao Zedong, Stalin, Lenin, everyone. So I thought, wow, I guess he was a great leader. For the first time, I came to know in 2018-19 that Stalin was actually a mass murderer. Mao Zedong was a mass murderer. I came to know all those things in 2018-19, and then uh, I'm economically not leftist anymore since 2018 onwards. Then in 2021, there's a person called Sanjeev Sanyal. He's the economic advisor. He's right now in the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister of India. Okay, and before 2 years back, up until 2 years back, he was the principal economic advisor to the Finance Minister of the country. So one of his statuses, Facebook's posts, got shared in the Indian Libertarian group. So I thought, and it was a pretty economically right-wing sort of a post. So I thought, who is this Bengali guy? I'm a Bengali. People who are from my state are called Bengali because my state is called Bengal, West Bengal. The rest of the Bengal is basically Bangladesh. So we got partitioned during 1947, during our independence. So usually all Bengalis are leftists. So I thought, who is this leftist guy talking right-wing things economically? And for the first time, reading a pop history book by an economist, I realized, oh, my country was great forever and ever. So after that, I started, let's say, reading and finding out more things about my culture. And then I read a book by a legendary historian called Sitaram Goel, who always tried to debate communists. Communists always ran away from him. He wrote a book called How I Became a Hindu, a very thin book. And he was also a communist when he was in college. Then he basically also started identifying as Hindu. And that's when I realized there's such insane information in these books that I have to share with some people. I can't sit down quietly anymore. So that's the main reason I started the channel, that I had to let people know the insane things Sanjeev Sanyal and Sitaram Goel have written. Then I got into, of course, more books and more politics following, and then I started giving my own views as well.
Do you know why communism is so widespread across India? Like, what led to it?
Because it appeals to your laziest, basest instincts, that you just have to say the coolest and the easiest, nicest thing you can. Are we allowed to curse here and use abusive words?
I mean, I get always demonetized, but I think maybe
Okay.
I'm trying not to get, but like, it's okay.
I for a strawberry fruit, you are probably getting demonetized because you support Israel. So, where was I? Anyway, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where was I?
No, like
Why communism? Yeah, why is communism popular? It appeals to your basest, laziest instincts, and you can get away with saying anything. So screw practicality, screw feasibility, screw what happens to the country or nation. You come across as a great person for saying everything communists believe in. Like Ben Shapiro wrote in his book, How to Debate a Communist and Destroy Them, How to Debate Leftists. I read that 30-page book, and I've never lost a debate with a communist ever since. So he said that right-wingers always debate with people, keeping in mind that it's just a difference of opinion. Communists debate with you, remembering that you are an evil person. So I remember that, oh yeah, no wonder. If you get such an unearned moral superiority, you get such a free ride on a high horse that you never have to come off that horse, and you can just pretend like you're a great person, then of course communism. And like, have you heard of Sir Roger Scruton? He's a British conservative. So I read a fantastic book by him called A Political Philosophy. Okay, so he said that, see, why communism or liberal or leftist politics are so cool and so attractive, because we can march down the road saying we are marching forward, we are marching towards progress, we are marching for this. Whereas what's a conservative supposed to say? Hesitate, think twice. How is that going to be a cool slogan for a march? So it's not going to be very attractive.
Oh my God, this is exactly the problem we have, like when we talk about Israel, is like, how can we compete with the cool slogans of wipe out everybody and everything like that? Like, like you cannot compete with it. But for me, it's interesting how come this. So okay, so in the United States, then I've seen, and this is where my bias comes from. Okay. There are two groups who are considered very successful. Those are the Hindus and the Jews. Very, very successful. And one thing is that is consistent is that both groups, even generation after generation in the US, do not forget their traditions and their customs. So to me, it kind of sounds weird when you say that you like how widespread communism is. So what is the difference between that, like this and that? Like what?
Yeah, the main difference is when you said that these are the two groups who never forget their traditions, but there is one difference that Indians or Hindus always forget one thing: what happened to them, what happened to their ancestors. It's not even about forgetting or not knowing. Yeah, it's basically about not knowing. No Hindu parent ever teaches their children, like maybe 1-2% used to. These days we have more awareness about these things, but we, like I said, we are never taught about we are not taught about the glorious past of our country or our culture. We are not even taught about the bad things that happened to us. We are only taught what bad things that ended up happening in our culture. So, and it's the result of a gigantic Marxist. See, basically, our first prime minister was a Fabian socialist. Then his daughter became the prime minister. She almost went out of power, and she had to take outside support from communists to stay in power. They changed the education system completely. The first economic advisor to the prime minister, that Fabian socialist prime minister, was also someone who basically believed in Maoist kind of central planning. He believed everything could be handled by bureaucrats. Every innovation could be handled by bureaucrats. All I need is an Excel sheet and a spreadsheet, and I can dictate people to do whatever I want. So these people are worshipped, and so it's always communist, communist, communist. And you see, our independence was not entirely like dragged away from the British. It was the result of a sort of a conversation and negotiation, and therefore a bit of a collaboration, because many British officers stayed and were the head of different branches of our government up until like even 50s. Okay. And people say that the Communist Party was also a sort of a British project to divide Indians more. So if the power structures want to divide you and have so many weapons in place, so it's a tough game upwards. So on top of that, people really don't want to go through the PTSD. I don't know how Jews manage it. I guess Jews have had so many years of practice that it's sort of a, you all know what are the best practices to not trigger PTSD, but also still go on talking about that what bad things happen to you all. But for us, it's like, why scar these kids? Why scar my kid and by telling them what happened to just my own grandmother 50 years back? So we have forgotten things. That's the main problem.
Yeah, I mean, I wondered, like, do you want me to answer that? How do we handle it?
Yeah.
So basically, it's a gradual exposure. You never hide. You don't want your child to be surprised. It's always like you always want them that info that is a bit harder to swallow. Like they need to feel like they always knew it.
Exactly.